Hi guys, it's Promise Sebastian here again. Welcome to Pro Studios. In this tutorial, we're going to be talking about lightning. Lightning is really essential in making your models pop or looking appealing and creative. Okay, so you could see as I did light up this model, and then it looks awesome, and it looks nice. Okay, so lightning is a key tool or a key skill you need to know in videos, whatever media you are in. You need to understand lightning. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about the lightning techniques, the type of light here in Blender, and then the properties of light. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I uncheck all the whole light so it's kind of dark, and then we'll start exploring all the whole lightning one after the other so you guys see how it works. Okay, so I'm going to uncheck all the whole lights. I have first light, I have the second light now. So I'm going to make it easy for me, I'm going to get another screen now. So I'm going to move my mouse to the edge. Okay, to get another screen, you just move your mouse to the edge here now, to the edge of this flyer, so you can see where my mouse is moving. Okay, so to the edge of this flyer, you drag it and then bring it out now. So we have a view of the solid preview mode. Here we are going to see the light here, but then in this render mode you're not going to be seeing the light properly well. Okay, so now we can see the light. So I'm gonna grab this now, I'm gonna move this out, and then I'm going to zoom out from this now. So let's zoom out, and then let's look at it now. All these stuffs are light. This is light, this is light, this is light. So this takes me to the types of light in Blender here. So you have spotlight, which is this. You have sunlight, which is this. You have you have point. This is point light, and this is spotlight. So there's a difference between point and spot. So this is area light. Okay, so I'm going to be explaining them with practical view on what they look like. I'll delete all these lights. So this is dark now. So add the light one after the other. So I'm going to delete this now. So I'll use the delete key, and the light is gone. Tap on this other light, delete key, it's gone again. So let's zoom out from our scene now. So tap on this other one, delete, and the light is gone. I'm gonna tap on this other one, delete, and the light is gone. This other one, delete, and the light is gone. So I have a dark scene now, so you cannot see the render. So let's just use the slide now, and slide to the left a little bit now, and slide to the left a little bit, and slide to the left a little bit. Okay guys, let me make my mouse highlightable, so whenever I'm moving it, so you guys are going to be seeing the color. Okay, so I have it on now, so you guys can see my mouse, so you guys see the light when I'm dragging it. Okay, so we are going to add our first light. Okay, so we'll head over to this scene now, drag this out, and then shift. Okay, so this is the solid mode, that is solid preview mode we are in on this other scene. Okay, so it's okay to learn how to add scene. I told you, once you move your mouse close to here, let's say we want to add another scene out of this now, so we could slide this out now. Sorry, this is trying to bring it out, so let's just slide out now. So you see we are bringing out another scene now. So this is another scene, so you could change to whatever mode, work shading, whatever shading you want, whatever mode you want to work on in these three different scenes here, workspace. So that is how crazy Blender is. Okay, so and that is awesome. So if you want to merge any mode that you brought out, you want to merge them together, let's say you want to bring this one to merge with this one, just take your key there again at the middle, at the bottom middle here now. So just grab to the left and make sure it appears like an arrow, and then covers up the other scene, and then you leave it. That's left click you're using to drag. You leave it, and then it covers it up. So let's drag this now. Let's click on this edge now. So once you bring your mouse to the edge between the scenes, they are the point at which they meet each other. If you bring your mouse there, you're going to see either an arrow line like this. Then if you bring it to the mouth here, to the mouth tip at the bottom here, edge here now, and then you're going to see a cross here. Here you could get a scene, and then we don't want to get a scene, we want to adjust this. So I'm going to grab this and then cover up this scene. So I have this my scene now, so I'm going to drag this back because I don't need this scene now. This is the scene I need to add light. Okay, so we're going to use Shift A now. Shift A, I've told you guys about Shift A to add meshes. I explained mesh, but now we are going to learn more about adding light. So if you see on this menu here, you have your light here now. So once you place your mouse on the light, you're going to see your point light, the sun, the spotlight, and the area light, which is the 4 lights you have when you have your light on. So you could switch once you press Shift A and then add a light. Let's say you add a point light, and then you have your light menu here. On these properties, object properties or mesh properties, you have the menu here. So you can switch the point light you added to sunlight, or you can change it to spotlight. That is, this point light you added, you can change it to sunlight or spotlight or area light, anyone that deem you fit, you get. So let's just move back to the point light, and then this is the light here. Let's zoom in so you see the light. So this is the light. Let me use G now and then Z, and then grab it up, okay, and then grab again X axis, and then grab my mouse to the X axis, and then I'm going to use this perspective view, sorry, orthogonal view. So I'm just seeing one side of one dimension of it. So I could grab the light now, move it to wherever I want. So I'm moving it at the top now. So let's move to the perspective view again this time. We're going to grab this now to somewhere here, and then I think it's Control T you use to move the light. If you tap on the, if you place your mouse on the object, I think, and then Control T, right, you could move the mouse. Okay, it's not Control T, but then you could use grab and then move it out. There's a key you use to move the light to wherever version, but then grab does that also. Okay, so that's not a big deal. You could use grab to grab it around. Okay, so let's put our point light, and then we'll grab our scene now to the edge, so you could see what it looks like. I don't want to close this, I just want to bring this out, and then let's slide this down. You could see what this light is looking like now. So you could move out this light. Let's use Shift now and bring up our scene so you see it, and then we'll zoom out from this scene so you see what the spot point light looks like. I'm gonna press G now and then move my mouse around so you could see what the spotlight do. It looks like more of your bulb in your house, more like it glitters to a point then, but then it doesn't have any particular direction like you could point it to. It just up there, it goes up at the top here and then shines to the bottom. You can't give it any particular direction, you just move it. That's one thing about spotlight. So you could increase, here are the properties of the light, so you could change the color of the light. Let's say I don't like this white, I want it something kind of blue, looking like kind of night, but not this kind of blue. This blue is not okay. Something like this to make it look as if it's nighttime. Okay, I could change the color, and then I can increase the brightness of my spotlight. To the more you increase the watt, it's more like your bulb. The more the watt, the more brighter it is. So the more you increase the watt here, the more it increases the brightness of your light. Okay, so you see it's increasing. So this is a spotlight. You wouldn't want to increase it that much. You could just leave it at this now. So another thing is diffuse. This diffuse is very important. If you don't want your light to have a sharp edge, you wouldn't want your light to have a sharp edge, you increase this diffuse, it's going to diffuse around. So, and then spectacular, I think it's actually how big it is. So volume, it doesn't do much on this. Okay, so the radius is the amount you want, how big you want the spotlight to be. Okay, how big you want your light to be. Okay, the more the radius, the more area it covers, you get, or the more diameter it covers. So you can increase the radius really well, and then increase the power to increase the brightness you want on your model. So you guys see how this point light does. So the difference between point light and spotlight, it's just that the spotlight, you could direct it. Okay, once you get to the spotlight, you're going to see that. Okay, so let's just scroll up and check some other properties of this light. So you have shadow and you have custom distance. You could change the distance. So let's reduce our radius back. Spotlight doesn't always have that much radius, so you would want to keep it at this small radius it has, and then reduce the watt. You could just keep it at 50 or at 30, something like that. Let's just make it 30 and enter. Okay, so that is it for this spotlight. We could just grab it around one more time. You guys see what it looks like. So you see I'm grabbing it around on my scene. So I will just bring it here. So now let's move over to the next light, which is the sun. Okay, so you have it here. You could also use Shift Mesh, and then instead of picking point light, you use Shift Mesh. Let me grab this here, and then this is one of our light. Let's just tap on the scene. You're tapping on the scene. So you could just use Shift A instead of adding, you go to light, instead of adding a port light, you could just add the sunlight, and then we'll have a sunlight. So this is the sunlight here. So let's just grab it up. Grab G, which is G, then Z or Z. So you move your mouse up, and then it brings up the sunlight. So you see how the sunlight is. It's very strong. You don't need to add much of it. Small, you could see the strength here. It doesn't work in watt, it works in strength. So you wouldn't want to increase the strength that much, okay, because it's going to look like what you don't want to see. Let's just increase the strength to 100 so you see what it looks like. So this is not what you would want. So the sun is always on the ratio of 1 to 10. You would want to keep it, or even 1 to 5. Okay, so let's try to, you see how it is in 2. Okay, so you see it's more like your normal sun. Okay, so it covers the whole scene and then brightens up everywhere. Most times it doesn't have edge, sorry, it doesn't have shadow that you could point the light to a particular region on the model and then you see the shadow. No, that is for spotlight. So we are going to zoom in on this our scene now, not on the render scene, not on the surface scene here, which is this one. So we are going to grab on this now, then move it around. The yellow button at on the light line is what you use to grab it around. So let's grab it around. Let's try Control T. Then T. Okay, so let's grab the light around. Let's grab the light around. So you see what the sunlight is looking like here. So if you remove the sunlight out, it's kind of out on another scene here. So you would want to keep the sunlight on the scene, which is pointing from up to down. If you make it pointing from up to somewhere else, you're not gonna see the effect. So it's pointing on our model. Okay, so the Control T I'm using is kind of actually trying to make the lights point to any particular model. So let's say we have different model now. So let's say Shift A, let's add a cube now. Then we'll have our cube. Let's just grab our cube and put it somewhere else. So if you tap on this light, sunlight now, and then press Control T, you could move to, I think, any particular model. Instead of just moving to moving the light around, you could press Control T and then you move the light to models instead of just having to move them around. It grips them to model. Okay, I think that's it for that. Let me just delete this, and then let's still go around with our sun. Shift grab down, and then let's move our sun around, and then you see how the sun works. The sun, you most likely will not be needing it to lighten up a product, a model, or let's just say a product or a face. You might not be needing the sun to lighten up a product, an image, someone's image. You just need to lighten up a background. Probably you have a village or a scene model you created, probably a village, an urban city you created, you want to lighten it up. That's why you'll be needing this sun. Okay, so that is it for the sun. Let's just delete this light again. Let's just delete this so you guys will feel the effect of any light we add. So we'll have a black scene now again. So let's Shift A again, light, and this time we are going to add the spotlight. Okay, so this is the spotlight. Let me grab Z and bring it up, and then you see what it looks like. Okay, so the name spotlight means that the light at a particular spot. Okay, so this is 10 watts, which is not really great. This is a spotlight. You will have to add enough of watts to it for it to be bright to the extent that you can see something. So I've added the 300 watts on it now. So let's grab it to our image, the light to our image now. So let me use the mouse, place it at the middle of these two scenes, and then grab so I can adjust from here. Let's place it at image, and then you see. So you see how this spotlight works. You could use it to get a shadow, a light shadow. You could even make it sharp or make it diffuse. Okay, so each of the lights have their different options here. So you could see on this spotlight now, other menus is out here which are not on the some other light. You see on spotlight you don't have that menu. On Sun, I think you don't have that many also, but then on Spotlight you have that many. So you have the radius, you can increase the amount you want the light to cover, and then you have the size. Sorry, the radius is the amount or the radius of the light, and then the size is the size of the light concave. Okay, so this is the light concave here. Now this is the light concave. So if you want to increase the concave of the light, you can increase this. You can increase this to get the concave, to increase the concave of this light, or you could reduce it to reduce the concave. By concave, what I mean is this round light shadow. Now I don't know if you get me. Okay, so let's use this size now. Let me increase it. So you see what it does now, it reduces it. So you could make the edge of this light now, this light, you can make the edge, you could make it sharp, or you could make it blend. So if you increase the amount of blending, you see it's kind of trying to blend with the background. But then if you reduce it, it's going to create a sharp light concave on the object. You see how it is work. So let's blend it, because we don't want it to do that. We don't want it to do that. So if you want it to show cone, so one thing to note about this Spotlight is it's like a cone shape. It has a cone shape. So if you want it to show that cone shape, you could just check this cone and then you see the cone shape here. But then you wouldn't want to do this. It's going to cover the model or whatever it is you are trying to light up. It's going to cover it and you're not going to see it properly well. So this is it for the Spotlight. Let's play around with this. Let me just zoom out and then grab the Spotlight and then move it around the scene. So you see how it works. So that is it for the Spotlight. So let's move to the area light. So the area light is kind of the Spotlight, but then most times it's stronger than the Spotlight. And then you could use it to create, you could see the area light now has, let me increase the size so you see what it's like. The area light doesn't work like the Spotlight. Most times I use the area light and I prefer it than the Spotlight, because the Spotlight most times will cover up areas I don't like. It will give me shadows I don't like. This one gives me interesting shadows. So you see how this area light works. So I'm just grabbing it now. The area light doesn't create that much shadows, and most times it's stronger than the Spotlight. So you could see just 300 watts of this area light has brightened up my scene, and then it doesn't create that shadow that much. You could bring it closer to the model and then you still have it lightened up and bright. Most times I use this area light more than the Spotlight. Okay, so let's just grab around the scene so you could see what it looks like. We could try reduce the amount of the light. Let's just keep it at 100 watts. Okay, so you see what it looks like. So we could change the color of this, some kind of night time somewhere here. Yeah, this is too saturated. So let's reduce the saturation. It's kind of saturated too much. So somewhere here. Okay, so this is great. It's kind of nighttime, looking nighttime. Okay, so we are going to scroll up. So you see other options here. You have square. You could change the shape of the area light. You could make it rectangular instead of square, but then square is the perfect one. Okay, you could make it kind of ellipse, kind of rounding. You see as the area light works. It's not like the Spotlight that converges as a point. This area light is more like a point light, but then it's kind of stronger than the Spotlight. Sorry, it's more like the point light, but it's kind of stronger than the point light. Yes, I prefer using it most times. Okay, so that is it. You could go check this on your own Blender and then play around with it. That's the key there. If you play around with it, you understand it and get the concept of it. Okay, so that is it about light. Okay, so guys, thanks for watching this awesome tutorial. See you guys on my next tutorial. Thanks for watching. See you guys on my next tutorial.